everybody, RV Enthusiast here. Nice seeing you again. Hey, today we're going to talk about the bike. If you ride a bike like this, this bike's not for you. If you ride any other way or any other kind of bike, this bike's for you. Let's get started. Guys, what we're going to start with is we're going to start with the logo. The logo is Magicycles. First off, you're looking at a 26x4. It is a Kenda fat tire. Then on this bike, which is the first generation, it comes with the Nut Aries brake. These have since been replaced with the Tektro Aries brake, which is a much better brake, but they are mechanical disc brakes. What that means to you, you're going to have to squeeze this handle a little harder to get the brakes to actuate and bring you to a stop. It's not a big deal. If you have any kind of hand strength whatsoever, I have arthritis in my hands, fairly easy to do. The next thing it comes with is a quick release front hub. So you just pull this down, it releases the tire, you can take the tire off. It makes it a little bit smaller to transport. If you have a Jeep or something, you could take that front tire off. It probably would fit in the Jeep without the front tire being taken off, but take the front tire off, set it into the back seat, and the rest of the bike will go in the back of any kind of vehicle that can put it in a station wagon or something like that. This bike is dirty, I ride it, so ignore that. Then you're gonna come across here on the fork, has Magicycle branded on both sides. This fork, I'm not sure the brand of it. It's a decent fork. It does everything you need this bike to do. I actually use this one more than I used on my other electric bike that I didn't use at all. I use it on this one a little bit, and that's a nice little feature. As you come up over here you have some preset adjusts. So you can make adjustments over here. And here you have the lockout and the not lockout. So that's open, that means the fork will bounce. As you can see, I'm just barely pushing on it. But the fork will bounce, and then you move it over here and it's a lockout. We can go up to the fender. These are plastic fenders. They're very nice because you don't hear the rocks clinging and clattering on a metal fender. So in between this one and one with a metal, probably a little bit less expensive to build, but in my opinion, a little bit quieter and really kind of nice. Then we're going to come up to the front light. The front light, it's okay. It's not great, but it's okay. The light emits out of this little beam here. This outer ring does not change. You cannot just turn the outer ring on and make it look kind of cool. So this just comes out of here. Someday I may modify that and make that a blue or a red or something. Just so maybe when the warranty's up, I'll change that. Or if I put a different one on it, then I may change that just for the fun of it. Then you come back up to the top here, and this is where you can put a basket or any kind of thing you want to add to the front of the bike. Then we're going to come up here. This reflector, I think it was mounted back here. I put this bar on it, so I pulled it out so it sits out a little bit further. And I kind of like the way it looks right there. To the brake handles, these are aluminum brake handles. They have a little plastic rubberized insert to rest your fingers on. Has a little bit of knurling there, and it's pretty nice actually. Then we're going to come over to the throttle. This is called a half throttle. It's because it's not a full throttle where the entire throttle is on the grip. It's a half throttle right here. Now I have seen some people modify this or put a rubber band on it with a rubber silicone thing with a little knob here, and it allows you to use it as a thumb throttle. Then you come over here to the shifter. This is a Shimano Tourney shifter. It does its job. Hey, look, it's an entry-level shifter. I'm not gonna tout it to be something it's not, but it certainly does do its job. The only thing I don't like is I really kind of wish it was down here instead of up here and here. That's it. That's the only thing. Shimano makes good products. They've been in business an awful long time, so nothing to worry about there. Then we're going to come over to this handlebar. Again, the aluminum grip standard. This is leather. I didn't think I would like it initially. I'm pretty used to it now, and I do like it. I was seriously thinking about changing it out to one that was a rubberized with a knurl on it. Has a knurl patch in here that that's kind of what I'm used to on my other bike, but I'm pretty used to this now. I kind of like it. Then here, this is the switch to turn on the display on the Magicycle. All you have to do is push the button, hold it a couple of seconds. The display will come on. The display comes on, and then you can go with this. You can change what you want the display to do, how fast you may want to ride, and things like that. That's the display. We won't get into the details on the display. Those are follow-up videos, and I've already shown you some of that display in the past. The other thing I really like about the bike is these upswept handlebars. So they go from a fat to a thinner, pretty thick down here. And I like the upswept. It gives you a much more upright seating position and a very nice feel riding the bike. You don't get sore backs from leaning over all the time. And the reach to the handlebars is great. And you can also loosen the 4 bolts up here. There's some bolts up in here. You can kind of see right back there. Those bolts right there, you can loosen those and tilt the handlebars a little further back or a little more forward. It's all up to you on what you feel, what your reach is, what you like. So the other thing about this particular bike, the Magicycle branded bike, is they use hydroforming manufacturing to make this standard pipe, aluminum pipe, a very nice, modern looking, beautiful shaped bike. Then you come down to the lower one. It's a larger tube. And the good thing about this one is the battery, how it sits on this frame is very nice, very well done. And there's not giant gaps where you can see through. It's a very nice way they mounted the battery. Now we'll talk quickly on the battery. Next week, I think I'm going to do a video on the battery, 48 versus 52 volt. But this is a 52 volt battery, and we'll talk about that next week. Now we're going to come down to the controller. The controller, I've heard, I'm not 100% sure, but I believe this is a 25 amp controller. I think that Magicycle, in their wisdom, sets it to 22 amps so you don't overpower it and burn it up. But at 22 amps, this is a nice controller. They have it factory set, I think, at 15 or 16 amps, which is plenty of speed to get you to 27 or 28 miles an hour. I regularly get to 26 miles an hour, and I'm a pretty big guy. So then we're going to come here to our crank, and these have Wellgo pedals, very nice aluminum, fairly large pedals. They do have little nubs for your shoes, so you don't slip off. Haven't slipped off on these at all yet, and they're pretty nice actually. Real quick, we'll talk about the paint job. That's one thing I was surprised about. At first, I kind of was like, man, is that powder coated? I asked Magicycle, they said no, it is not powder coated, but it is a very fine finished bike. Has a little bit. This one, I think, has a little bit of pearl in it, so it kind of reflects a little nicer, and the white one does have pearl. It's very obvious it has pearl. If you're looking here going, wait, what's Bruce got going on here? This is tape right here that I use to put on my rear view camera. As that cord comes out of here, it comes down, comes up here, follows underneath the bike rail here, and then comes back to my backup camera. We'll talk about that maybe on another day. We're talking about the bike today. So from the crankshaft, we're going to come back, and we're going to come to the rear Kenda tire, again, a 4x26 Kenda tire. And then we're going to come over to the back brake. Again, this is the nut brake. Again, these bikes do not come with this brake. It comes with the Tektro mechanical brake. Then we're going to drop down to the kickstand. It's a heavy-duty aluminum kickstand. I'm actually surprised. Now, other people say it's just an aluminum kickstand. It's an average kickstand. They don't know average. If they see most bikes, my other electric bike does not have that kind of a kickstand. It's not near that beefy, not near that nice. Then we're going to come up to the rack. The rack is a fairly solid rack. I haven't had any problems whatsoever with it. This is aluminum, so there's no rotting, no wood piece to damage. I do like the look of a wood piece up there. It does look nice, but I think time will tell that's a better design item. It also comes with these straps to strap like a windbreaker on or a jacket, just in case you were riding it cold in the morning and it got hot or the sun came out, you could just strap your jacket on back there. It does come with these larger reflectors right there, fine. Talking about the reflectors on the tires, when I first saw the bikes, and I've seen bikes like this in the past, my brain said, ooh, I don't like the size, how it's clamped so wide apart and how it kind of looks so-so. I have now gotten used to it, and I like that the fact that the reflectors are there. These are 13 gauge spokes where the front are 12 gauge spokes. Now, the rims on the Fat Tire bike are aluminum rims. Okay, we're going to turn the bike around and go to the other side. But first, let's hit this seat. There are people that say the seat isn't that comfortable. It's a little hard. I've had 13.7 mile rides on it, a couple of those, a couple of 9 mile rides, a 12 mile ride, and then some short rides. Time will tell when I get up to the trails in the spring and summer, and I can ride this thing for, say 4 hours. The seat works just fine, and I'm pretty picky because got a big butt, and I would think I would be a little more choosy and a lot of weight going down on this. You'd think I'd be complaining, but no, not so far. And I tell you straight up, man, that change that seat right away. For me, I haven't had to do that. It also has a quick release for the seat post. So you pull this latch right there. The seat can be moved up and down as you request or you require. That's a nice little function rather than having to get your Allen set and doing that with a wrench on the other side to set the proper height that you need. This is a very nice, handy thing to have. Now, a lot of people on e-bikes don't care what their pedal to hip distance is because they don't have to necessarily extend their leg all the way out because the assist that helps. I'm finding that on this bike to be true. On my mid-drive bike, which has a mid-drive motor, 250 watt, I have to have that full extension because it's a lot of hard work. This 750 watt motor is absolutely enough to make it fun. All right, we'll move the bike around and go to the other side. All right, guys, and we have a tail light, and it works when you squeeze the brake. So with the headlight on, the tail light does come on. I hope I got you in frame. I do. And then when you squeeze it, it also brightens. So very nice tail light. Okay, on this side, the rack has a little handle right here that you can pick the back of the bike up when you're lifting it and moving it. If you watch the early videos, they had a little strap down here on the seat that has a little handle that you can grab. I think the two competed with each other. The seat here, in my opinion, a piece of plastic hanging down is a little weaker than this. I think this is a better solution and works really well. I use this often when I'm moving the tail of the bike around. Okay, then we're gonna come down here. We have mid-lower level, not the lowest, not the entry level, but next up on their Shimano derailleur. Not a bad derailleur. I've had zero problems at all. I've had to make zero adjustments on my particular one. It's a rust-free chain, and all you have to do is apply a little bit of lubricant to it every once in a while, and it will stay nice and work just fine. a sprocket guard, so it guards, keeps the chain from falling off, and it also keeps you from getting your 1970s bell bottoms caught up in the chain and wrapped around, kind of throwing you off the bike. So for all of us remembering those bell bottom jeans, that's the other thing it does. As you crank this pedal, let's move it around. As you crank this pedal, you're putting a lot of pressure on this upper chain right here, and the downward force here eventually could pop one of these, and you would go chainless. And then that could be a problem. If this chain broke, your hub motor will get you home anyway, and this chain doesn't go under that kind of stress unless you are not turning your motor on and you are riding basically without the battery. Then you'll put more stress on that, and maybe it could become a problem, but just don't stand 275 or 300 pounds on the top of that crankshaft without the motor running and bounce, because that will, that could break the chain. I'm not saying it would. I've never broken a chain. The hub motor, I don't know if I'm pronouncing it right, but it's a Shangji hub motor, 750 watts, 86 Newton meters of torque. So what torque is, it's a measurement of the twisting force of a motor. So the more twisting force the motor has, the more torque it can deliver. And that torque on this one is 86 Newton meters. And on most others, you're looking at 80 Newton meters or less. Again, now we're going to talk about the rear fender. Rear fender is plastic as well. It's just nice. The bike is built very nice. Okay, so the only other thing I want to talk about is these welds. If you look at the welds again, I've shown you this in a video past, but these welds are very nice welds. Some manufacturers will grind these welds off and make this look a little bit smoother, like it was formed that way. All that really does by grinding it off is cost money. You're gonna pay extra couple $100 to grind all this off. And is that worth it? Not in my opinion. This is a mechanical device. This is a device that for me, I like those welds. That's it, guys. That is everything I can think of on this bike. If you have any questions or comments or want to know anything more about this bike, please hit me up in the comment section. Again, my channel is a non-monetized channel, guys. I do not make anything from this channel. I don't even make money from Magicycle. I get magic coins if you buy a bike. And one more thing, guys, the wire management of this bike, everything comes down here, comes nicely packaged, and they come down and then come right up into here, into a little cavity that goes down the frame, so you don't have any loose wires up here. No loose wires up here other than the one I particularly put in for my rear view camera. So they do a very nice job of wire management. Those come out the bottom of the hub and then the crankshaft, and then go back to the back of the motor where it feeds the motor power. If you are interested in a Magicycle bike, go to magicyclebike.com and put the code in when you order it, capital R, capital V, capital E, 200. It should give you some money off unless they are running a special. As they are currently running a special right now, you can get this bike for $1,449. That's a great deal, guys. I would highly recommend getting it for that price. At $1,449, this bike smokes all other bikes in its class. It's cheaper, has more Newton meters of torque, and this thing is a monster. This thing will get you there in a hurry quick. And I did not say this thing is a 28 mile an hour class 3 bike. It comes shipped as a class 2 up to 20 miles an hour. You can go into the display and change that to a 28 mile an hour smoker. And it's fast at 28. I'm not doing that anymore because I mean, I'll do it for test purposes, but I'm not gonna ride at 28 miles an hour. It's fast. All right, guys. Hey, thanks for joining me. Remember to like, share, and subscribe to this video. And full-time, part-time, anytime, there's a great time to do what you enjoy. And I enjoy this. Thanks, guys.
To like, share, and subscribe, click the logo to the left.